really have a current player's jersey, to be honest. I got Lakers Russ is the last one I got. So
is that the one you have?
Yeah.
Russ Westbrook, bro.
Lakers Russ.
No
Yeah.
real loyalty, Clippers and 7 in the tag. All bad,
like
y'all.
Westbrook.
Only one real fans here. It's fine. It's all right.
I feel that. I low key, I'll save it for the episode, but I actually low key think the Kings will beat the Warriors. I'm not
Oh,
gonna
we live, so
We
we
live.
already-
Oh, we're already live? Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll start off with a hot take then. I'll start off with a hot
There
take.
it is. You see what
I
it
think-
is. Can't
I mean,
man.
I'll just start going a little bit, I guess.
Sure,
I think
okay.
everyone's writing the Kings off just because they are the Kings. Like,
Okay.
you know, basically none of those players have seen the playoffs. Some of them have, but
Harrison Barnes, I guess, yeah.
Harrison Barnes, like just not in a Kings uniform. And
Yeah.
I think we write off the franchise of Sacramento just because they are the Sacramento Kings. But I think they have a legitimate shot of knocking off the Warriors. And it sounds like a hot take, but when you think about it, everyone was waiting for the Kings to
It's a
fall off.
spicy take.
Everyone was waiting for the Kings to fall off all
And they
year.
kept
Like,
winning.
even Kings fans,
Yeah.
Kings fans were like, we won't be the 3 seed. We're going to be like the 6, 7 playing. Stayed as the 3 seed.
Vic, Alec had to pay me because the Kings stayed so good.
I did.
There you go.
We made that bet like a month into the season, though. It was a good projection from you for sure.
I know ball. What you want me
Yeah.
to
Take it.
All right. Different start from usual, but
For
we're
sure,
back.
for sure.
Our boy Vic is here, as you can see, with the hot takes already. Much appreciated. Glad to have him on here. Another great episode on the way for you guys, talking about the NBA playoffs getting underway. We're going to make our finals predictions, as you guys will see, as well as talking about the first round, what's getting underway this weekend. So a lot of fun stuff here. You got to preview what we're going to get into in a moment, but glad to have y'all. But as we start officially, make sure you like, rate, review, subscribe, comment, post, share. However you guys got to show love. We appreciate it all, and happy to be here with Alec and Vic today. As you guys can see, it's going to be a fun one. So let's not waste no more time. We're in the intro real quick, and then we'll get into it. Here it is. No time to waste. NBA playoffs are here. Excited to get into it all. Very excited with how things are shaping up. With the play-in games wrapping up today, or by the time you guys see this, they'll be wrapped up officially. And yeah, just good things going on in the NBA right now. Where you guys want to start with this? You just want to start with the play-in games real quick, or you want to start at the top?
You can start with the playing games, yeah.
Yeah, let's start with the playing games.
Playing games are going on. We'll start with the West, as we're all guys out here in the West and enjoy what's going on here. The Lakers and the Timberwolves played, and the Lakers beat them to get the 7th seed. So they'll be moving on, as you see in this bracket, to play the Grizzlies. But beforehand, for the last playing game, the Timberwolves will be playing against the Thunder, who beat the Pelicans the other day as well. So real quick with them for this playing preview, how you think that game shapes up with the Timberwolves and the Thunder tonight?
That's a good question. I think a lot of it is going to depend on Anthony Edwards and his health. Apparently, like he injured his, I think it was his shoulder or his elbow, like in the Lakers playing game. Shoulder, okay. And he was really off shooting the ball from the perimeter. I think he was like 1 for 9 or something like that for the perimeter. And you could tell like it clearly affected his game. I think if he missed a couple more of those shots, the Timberwolves might win in regulation.
Right.
So I think it's largely going to be health dependent on that side. The Thunder played a phenomenal game. Shea was kind of quiet in the first half and let the other guys cook. And then he came out and put up, I think, 25 in the second half. Josh Giddey was exceptional. They got a lot of young, talented guys that have been playing hard all season. I feel like for half the season, people thought they were still tanking once again, but they were still kind of hanging around.
Right.
And they had one of the better records in the second half or post All-Star break. So I think this is going to be a really great matchup. And honestly, I think I'm going to go with the underdog, the upset in the Thunder.
Right.
I like Shea's ability to close. I like Giddey right next to him. I like Dort as a defender. The only downside is they don't really have the interior size. If Gobert is healthy for the Timberwolves,
right.
But Gobert being healthy also affects how the Timberwolves play too. I don't know if it's a net positive for
Right.
them. So I'm gonna go with the upset in the Thunder there.
Vic, what you think?
Oh, I mean, I largely agree with Alec. I think everyone's been waiting for the Thunder to fall off as well. You know, they're tanking. They have all these first round picks in the coming years. Like, this was not the Thunder's year to contend on paper.
Yeah.
But I think when an opportunity falls in your lap like this, you just run with it. And I think Shea's rise, Giddey's play has been phenomenal. They don't even have Chet.
Right.
And at times, you know, you look at him, you're like, do they even need Chet? I mean, it'll be nice to add him back, and then all the future first round picks are going to have all those players. But
Absolutely.
Anthony Edwards, to flip over to the Timberwolves, certainly doesn't look right. That shoulder is definitely bothering him. And I don't know if he can't shoot the three, it severely hinders their ability to score. And I think in that Lakers game late, when the Lakers really like clamped down on defense, they struggled to score. And when you're struggling to score like that, you need a ball handler, shot creator like Anthony Edwards to get his own. And he clearly could not get his own shot when usually he can.
Yeah.
So I think
he got good looks too. He was not hitting.
Some of them were open threes, and you know, Anthony Edwards has killed the Lakers all year. We did not have a winning record against the Timberwolves this season, and that was largely in part because Anthony Edwards was lights out from three.
Yep.
But Rudy Gobert is interesting. I have more to say about Rudy Gobert later. I'm gonna save that for now. But
no.
I'll save it because he's one of my awards for a different.
Okay.
But I think Rudy Gobert does change the dynamic of the Timberwolves, and I don't think in a good way sometimes. I kind of like when they play more freely through Cat, and Cat's the true five. It definitely helps spacing. We'll see, especially coming off the punch thing. Like, you can't just completely write that off. Like, you can't just be like, all right, you know, all good, Rudy, like, come back into the locker room. Like, let's make the playoffs. People don't forget about that. No McDaniels. I don't know. I'm also going to go with Thunder in this one. I just think the two teams are trending in different directions.
Yeah.
And I think the Thunder are kind of hitting a stride right now. So I'll take them.
Yeah, I agree. Both of y'all, Thunder win that game. I like what the Timberwolves got, and I was a fan of them and enjoy Ant and enjoy Cat and guys over there. But seeing that things have slightly fallen apart with them, even though they almost beat the Lakers, just seeing that they don't have full chemistry, as you guys pointed out. I think the Thunder, who continue to surprise folks, as you guys both pointed out, I think they'll get it done. So that'll be a fun matchup there. Them going on to play the Nuggets there. We'll get to that in a moment. Well, real quick on the East side, we'll have I believe it's the Hawks versus the Bulls, correct? That final playing. Oh no, who is it?
It's Miami versus the Bulls.
Oh, Miami versus the Bulls. Excuse me, Miami versus the Bulls in that final matchup for the playing. How you guys have that one going?
I'm not sure, to be honest. Miami kind of laid an egg against Atlanta. I think pretty much everyone, including myself.
The Hawks won. All right.
Yeah. Everyone, including myself, I believe, had Miami winning that. We all expect Jimmy Butler to turn it up a notch in the playoffs. We saw the Atlanta Hawks struggle throughout the season. They found a little bit of their footing with Quinn Snyder taking over the helm. But yeah, that was a bit of a shocker to me in that game. Them getting housed by, I don't know if it ended up being closer, but it was like a 20-point game for a lot of it. And then Chicago, I had Toronto winning that game as well too. So Chicago upsetting Toronto was a bit of a shock to me as well. They have two guys you can count on late in game to create their own, as we talked about Anthony Edwards, in DeRozan and Levine. So I do like that when you get to playoff time. With Miami, a lot of it's going to be on the shoulders of Jimmy Butler. Did have Kyle Lowry play a great game. Can
you do it twice? Can Kyle Lowry drop 30 twice in a row?
I was going to say, on the brink of being washed, he came back to kind of save his legacy with a play-in performance. But no, I don't know if he can repeat that 2 games in a row. This is like we talked about with the Timberwolves, two teams that aren't really trending in the greatest direction. The Bulls kind of hanging on for dear life. man, I don't really know in this game. I guess I'm gonna go with Miami, but like, I don't really feel good about either team.
Got it.
Yeah.
I'll go real quick. I think the Bulls, even without DeMar's daughter in the building, I think the Bulls can get it done and finally get the victory there. I know she played her part, and then people were all riled up about her screaming all game last matchup. But I think even without her being there, I think DeMar and those guys can put on another performance and get it done. Versus the Miami squad, who I think are ready for the season to be done. To be honest with you, they only do
Right.
I think Jimmy wants to be in there for sure.
Yeah.
The rest of the squad is ready for Cancun, I think. So
I mean, they're already in Miami, so they're close.
close enough. They'll be getting there shortly. So I got the Bulls actually getting in there. So yeah, Vic, what you think, real quick?
I don't have too many thoughts on this. I think I will say something's been off with Miami all year. Like it's largely the same team that's made, finals runs, Eastern Conference finals runs in the last couple years. Like there's nothing materially different. They've just felt off, out of sync, lost a ton of games I thought they should have won. I mean, this is anecdotal, but I went to a Laker game, no Bron, no AD, right after the trade deadline. So they didn't have, they didn't have any of the new guys. They didn't have the guys they traded. It was basically Dennis Schroeder, fully healthy Heat team. I went expecting to see
Dennis cook.
Hey, let him cook. Lakers won. So maybe that's just, I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is that's a microcosm of the Heat's entire season falling short of expectations. And I could see it happening again. I mean, I don't have any faith in Miami. What I will say, though, is Jimmy Butler, usually when the lights are brightest, turns it on. So I don't know. I'd also probably go with Chicago, but
wait. So you said he turns it on, but you said Chicago,
right?
I don't know. I'm flip flopping like hella hard right now. I said usually he turns it on.
Okay.
He turns it. Yeah. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna ride with Miami. I feel like every time I try to count Miami out, they do something right. That Hawks loss was kind of embarrassing.
They were a game away from the finals last year. So
not wrong. Not wrong. They went to the 2020 finals. They were that Jimmy Butler three was what? Probably 2 inches away from going in on that last second pull up three in front of Horford.
Right.
But again, something's been off with Miami all season. I can't put my finger on it. Being the 7th seed, losing the first play-in game. I'll ride with Miami. You're right, but I don't love it. I don't love the feel of this Heat team.
I feel you.
Okay, so y'all got the consensus there with Miami getting that 8th seed. So now we go into the first round. We'll start with the East as we just did, just wrapped up with Miami getting the 8th seed versus the Milwaukee Bucks. How's that going in the first round?
Only because it's Miami and they like match up okay, having like Bam and Giannis. I'll give them one game, so like I'll give them Bucks in 5.
Okay.
If it's Chicago, I'll say Bucks in 4.
Okay.
But we saw how that went. I think just last year. They ran right through them.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Pat Bev's gonna have much to say about that. So yeah, I'll say Milwaukee in 5 if it's Miami, Milwaukee in 4 if it's Chicago.
Vic, what you think?
Yeah, you know what? I think Milwaukee's the only true juggernaut. Not even Boston. Boston has also been kind of spotty. They might be 57-25, but when you see Milwaukee play, you see a team with very few holes. And I agree. I think gentlemen sweep if it's Miami, and I think if it's Chicago, I no chance Chicago wins a game.
No chance.
So not even
one.
yeah, maybe they steal one. Maybe DeMar gets hot, they steal one. But yeah, I Milwaukee pretty easily.
Okay.
For whatever reason, again, maybe I'm seeing things different somehow. I have it flipped. Like I think if the Bulls get in, though they got worked last year, I think they can get a win from them this year some kind of way. I think Levine and DeMar know that they're on their last legs of this duo here potentially, and they're gonna have to put up some kind of valiant effort. Though it is against the Bucks, of course, they gotta show some kind of signs of life here to keep that pairing going. So they're gonna put up one game. While Miami, I think I don't know. It seems like they're falling apart, to be honest with you. Outside of Jimmy, and again, I pointed out that Jimmy can't step up in the playoffs, and very very well may do so against a Milwaukee squad, though he's not afraid of at all. individually at least. I think the rest of the squad may have a different fate. And again, I think Miami, if they get there, we'll get swept, while the Bulls actually could steal a game there. So we'll see how it plays out, but definitely going to be interesting to see. We'll just go right down the list. The Cavs versus Knicks. How you guys have that one going? That should be a fun one.
Yeah, I think this one is a kind of a true toss-up. I mean, it's a 4 or 5, so it makes sense. But I think it's going to be a hotly contested matchup between these two teams. I really don't know that I've made a decision yet. I love how Brunson and Randall have played this year, and IQ off the bench as a potential 6th man of the year. Garland, Donovan Mitchell had an All-NBA season. Evan Mobley, a potential defensive player of the year type season.
Who's the X factor in this series?
Man, I think because Randall has something to prove, Randall is one of them on the Knicks. And I think that matchup is going to be a big one to look at, Randall versus Mobley. So I'm very interested to see Mobley in his first playoff. Yeah, his first playoff series. So I think that matchup is the one I'd be looking at the most there, because of how Randall struggled in his first playoff series with the Knicks.
Right.
So yeah, that Randall Mobley matchup for sure. Man, I really like the Knicks. It's just a kind of a tough draw in the first round. I'll say Knicks in 7. I'll say Knicks in 7.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I guess I do agree with the Julius Randle thing. I think he has a massive chip on his shoulder to be. They do have Brunson, but it's kind of still Randall's team, it feels like, for the most part, because he's been there not much longer, but longer. And I think he does have something to prove. I think Cleveland's interior length and size is worrisome. And I think Randall kind of struggles sometimes with length because he's strong, but like Randall's not a very tall, he's a very modern big. He's developed a 3. He's very strong. He's got bull-like strength, but I think Cleveland's interior defense worries me a little bit. And then Cleveland guard-wise match up very well with the Knicks. And I think Donovan Mitchell also. Like Donovan Mitchell has performed well in the playoffs. It's not that he hasn't, but I think he wants to make a run right now. And I think this Cleveland team is poised to do that. I also like Quickly off the bench. A little bit of a spoiler. He's kind of my 6th man I'm leaning towards as well. I think it's a toss-up, but I'm going to take Cleveland in 6. I really like the way this Cleveland team plays. I like Cleveland's home crowd, I think, is also kind of underrated. Like maybe it was all those LeBron years and all those LeBron runs, but I think the Q is like a very underrated home. I mean, obviously Madison Square Garden, but I don't know. I think I'm going to go Cleveland in 6 here. And I'm going to attribute that to Donovan Mitchell and their length and size across the board. I just think they match up and can neutralize Randall. But, at the same time, like Alec was saying, I think Julius Randle dictates how this series goes. If he can overcome that, if he can dominate that Mobley matchup or any of the bigs that Cleveland throws at him, I think that gives the Knicks a chance to win this series.
Yeah, I see what the Knicks present as well, and I understand why Alec can see them potentially getting that slight upset, if you want to call it that, in that series. But I'm leaning more so like Vic is and going with the Cavs here. I think you look at individual matchups, just going down the list in a literal sense. If you got, I think Garland can match up with Brunson and quality wise and keep things even on that front. I think Mobley may not have the scoring output that Julius does, but I think impact wise can be just as valuable for the Cavs squad as Julius is for the Knicks. But really that 2 spot, Donovan Mitchell versus RJ Barrett. As good as RJ Barrett is, I don't think he can elevate like Donovan Mitchell can in the playoffs. We've seen Donovan Mitchell, while he has not fully got over the hump to a finals or anything like that, he has had a lot of great performances in the playoffs already. I think will continue to do so on a new squad that he was brought there to do so. So yeah, I think Donovan Mitchell shows it again why he's one of these top guys in the league. We talked about this last video that he's a all NBA level guy, and he proves in this series, getting the Cavs over the hump versus the Knicks there. So I'll say it may go 7, but yeah, I think it still goes to Cavs way in that with them getting the home court, thanks to with the help of that fan base, as Vic pointed out. So definitely gonna be a fun one there. Excited for that. Another. I don't know how this one's gonna go. To be honest with you, if the old squad was there, maybe it would be interesting. But the new look Nets squad, led by Dinwiddie,
Din Shitty.
Different. That's a whole other conversation. Excuse me.
Oh man,
him and those boys versus the Sixers. How's that going?
Bro, Din Shitty been talking way too much for a slightly above average NBA player, man. Like, come on, dog. And it has nothing to do with this series. I don't know how that even started. That beef between him and Kuz. But yeah, this matchup I don't like for the Nets. Mainly because they don't have a star. I mean, Mikal Bridges, salute to him. He's been great since the trade. He's been great since the trade. I think he even said himself, like, he didn't really see himself as like a 30-point per game guy, but he's just come in with the aggressive mindset, knowing that he's gonna get the shots. And he's been great. Like, he's been sensational. I didn't expect to see 40 balls from Mikal Bridges in the NBA. So salute to him. But I think Philly is maybe the second best team in the East, obviously between them and Boston. But I think Philly has a legitimate chance at a run. And I think Embiid is my MVP. And I think they're gonna be coming out with a business-like approach. I don't think they want to play around with the Nets. The Nets have a lot of good 3-and-D guys, but I love the matchup for Embiid. Claxton has been solid, but that's not going to be enough for Joel Embiid, and I think they dominate this series. I was debating between a sweep, but I'll give them one with the Mikal Bridges salute. So I'll say Philly in 5.
Yeah, I'll keep it short and sweet. I agree with Alec. I'm going Philly in 5. I think Brooklyn steals one. Joel Embiid dominates. Brooklyn's not bad, actually. I kind of liked that Suns trade for him.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be good in the future. No answer for Embiid though. They don't have one. So Philly.
It feels like we're back in the same spot we were with the Nets a few years ago with that young D'Lo and Dinwiddie squad, I believe it was, ironically, a while ago. And all those boys against the Sixers, who I think it was the same thing, gentlemen's sweep, where they put up a good flash, were led to the guys that would end up being in the building with them following that. So I think it's the same thing. The history repeats itself. The Nets may get one from them, but Sixers went away with it, and the future will be bright for the Nets though afterwards. So I think Sixers get it done, and Embiid continues on his tear. So good stuff there. Lastly, in the first round, Celtics versus the Hawks there. How does that play out?
Yeah, admittedly, I haven't watched a whole lot of Hawks basketball this year because they've been bad for a lot of it. But I was like pleasantly surprised in that play-in game against Miami, how they played. Seems like they have more of a commitment to the defensive end now, which is going to be important going against the Jays from Boston. I think Boston has proved to be a really good team throughout this year, although, as Vic pointed out, they have been shaky in stretches too. But they finished the season close to 60 wins and in a number 2 seed after losing Ime Udoka. I thought they were going to fall down a little bit, but Joe Mazzulla held down the fort.
Yep.
I think this is a series that Boston should win comfortably. But Trae is still a superstar level talent at the point guard position. We might have jumped the gun a little bit when he made that Eastern Conference Finals run. I think I had him as the 3rd best point guard in the league at that point. I'll backpedal a little bit off that, but he's still in there somewhere. 6'7" maybe point guard in the league. But yeah, I think Boston is a better collective team, a great 3-point shooting team. can be a bit streaky, but defensively, they're also really strong. So I'm gonna go with Boston, but I think it might be a little bit longer than expected. So I'm gonna say Boston in 6.
Real quick, I agree with that. I think this Hawks squad they've been literally middle of the pack the entire year. I think all their stats are like damn near dead center of the league across the board for a lot of things. I think, but for somehow I think they've somewhat hit a little bit of a stride this last end of the season and match up well enough with this Boston squad who have not. I don't believe while they are a very good squad, I think there's room for a Hawks squad, for a team like this Hawks squad, to get a game or two from them. They may not win the whole series, but I think, as Alex pointed out, they can stretch this out a lot longer than expected. So yeah, I think Celtics in 6 is going to be how it plays out.
Yeah, I could see that. I think Atlanta has a little bit of Miami-itis where like the team looks good on paper. Like I looked at that team during the play-in game and I was like, okay, Trae, they got Sadiq Bey now.
Right.
John Collins, Clint Capella was dominating in the paint.
Murray.
Oh, Hunter.
DeJounte
Murray.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously I forgot Murray. I was like, DeAndre Hunter. Like I looked at them and I was like, this is a collection of good young players. Like they've been better this year than they were.
Yeah.
And then there was that Trae Young trade rumor that leaked that the front office was shopping him around. That leaked like the day of the play-in game.
Right, yeah.
Which I think is crazy, but like a guy like Trae, he loves to internalize those kinds of things and use them as fuel. The whole like, New York Knicks hate and everyone calling him like
he likes the villain role a little bit.
He does, New York Knicks fans were calling him a lollipop with like hair on it or whatever the roast was. And like Trae kind of does a good job of internalizing those things and using it as motivation. So I'm going to give like him some flowers in terms of that. Like he hasn't been like, as good as we think he can be this year, but he's still been pretty good. So Boston's still very, very good though. I did call them shaky earlier, but I will also give them credit. You don't end the season 57-25 for nothing.
Right.
They are a formidable team. They play defense. They have a bench. Brogdon, potential 6-man up there with Quickly. Al Horford is shooting like 48% from threes, like a true modern big.
Yeah.
I'll go Boston in 6, but I think it's a comfortable 6. I do think that the Hawks can steal a game or two, but I still think Boston is blowing them out in the win. Not blowing them out. Like it's game 6, but the 6th game is like a 20-point win. So like
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
It wasn't that much of a sweat, but that's what I'll go with. Boston in a comfortable 6.
Okay.
All right. I don't know, my finger bleeding. I don't know what just happened, but yeah, definitely should be fun on the east side, but much more intense on the west side. Most of these series can go either way.
That's what we're ready for.
Yeah, now we're really talking. So up top, Denver versus we both picked. I think the consensus was who? The Thunder. Denver versus the Thunder. How does that play out?
Yeah. I like Denver a lot in this matchup. I feel like they haven't really gotten full respect from the NBA community. I think more so because of previous years, not necessarily because of this year, but because we've seen them be good before and falter. But in previous years, they have had injuries. So like Jamal Murray was out or Michael Porter was out. And this time, like they have no excuse really. You got a potential 3-time MVP winner, 3 in a row for Jokic. Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray are healthy. You've got the number 1 seed in the West. Like this should be your time to make a run. Obviously, there's other teams in the West that are gonna make it difficult, but they should take care of business. I think if they see the Timberwolves, I'd probably say 5. I'd probably say 5. I'm close to sweep based off of Anthony Edwards. I think Jokic cooks in that matchup. But if they see the Thunder, man, I want to respect Shea. I'll say gentleman sweep regardless of who they see.
Okay.
Because I do think Shea can get a game. He's been a first team All NBA level guy this year, so. Yeah, I'll say gentleman sweep.
You ready for this?
Yep.
I got the Nuggets in 6. I give the Thunder 2 games in that. I think Shea gets you a game, and Shea might get you one more game, but also with that Shea plus Giddey, I think can get you one game in there too. So I think there's enough. I think we haven't seen enough elevation yet again from Jamal Murray to say he can cancel out wherever Shea throws at them.
Mm-hmm.
So
no. Shea clears him for sure. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So we haven't seen enough from Jamal in his return to say that he can cancel out wherever Shea throws there. So I think Shea will get one, and then he has enough talent. He might be able to get another one in there as well. Especially if Giddey steps up and has a 30 ball like he did in the playing game the other day. So yeah, I think this game can go 6. And I won't go as far as say 7, but yeah, I think the Thunder put up a good matchup. If it's the Timberwolves, possibly the same thing, but it's very, 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 very much depending on Ant if he can get his shot falling again. But yeah, either way though, I think the Nuggets win that series in the end. So think what you think.
So hating hours are open.
Okay.
Which means
okay.
Hating hours are open. It has not closed. I am one of the Denver deniers that I'm alluding to. My thoughts on Denver are, and I keep bringing up the word juggernaut because I think this is one of the first NBA playoff pictures where the only true juggernaut is Milwaukee. And even then, there's arguments Milwaukee's fallible. And I don't see a single juggernaut in the West. Certainly not Denver. Again, it's just my opinion.
The closest would be the Suns, but they just haven't been together that long.
The closest would be the Suns, but there's health. You know, Booker was missing games. Chris Paul is always 2 seconds away from a hamstring strain, and he's still Chris Paul.
Yeah.
And then even Kevin Durant obviously is no hallmark of health. And then, them gelling. Everyone was talking about the Suns. I mean, I'll save this for the Suns, I guess, but I'll go back to the Denver. I think Denver wins pretty comfortably no matter what, but I just wanted to say that the Denver hate definitely does come from previous years that, like, what has Denver done? Right. They made a Western Conference Finals run in the bubble against the Lakers, and that was admirable. It was a good series. Mm-hmm. They look good this year, but they still look beatable. I think they're a far cry from like penciled in for, not that anyone's penciling them into the finals, but
sure.
So I think it's just a matter of when some of those Denver vulnerabilities show. And I don't know if it shows this early, but I just wanted to get my Denver take off a little bit. Like Murray,
I'm good with that.
No complaints here.
I'm good with it.
Murray hasn't been the same since the injury, and I keep drafting him in fantasy. So that's how I can tell you. I've been monitoring the guy since the injury in fantasy. Those fantasy points are not adding up.
Not looking great.
Yeah, but we'll see. Well, Denver is the 1 seed for a reason. They did have a very good regular season, but we'll see what happens in the playoffs.
Honestly, I largely agree with you, Vic. I think Denver should be thanking their lucky stars that the Lakers won that game, because if they saw the Lakers in the first round, I would have had the Lakers in that series. I don't think it would have been a great matchup for them. So, yeah, I'm with you to a large extent, but I think they take care of business in the first round, regardless of what they say. Did you give a pick for?
I'm rolling with OKC for that final play-in game, but I'll take Denver in 5 or whatever. Okay. I think Denver still wins comfortably. Like, I just wanted to get my spicy Denver take. And
within that, you said a lot about the Suns in there. The Suns versus Clippers. I'll start with you, Vic. How does that series go?
So this is actually, I think, the most intriguing series. You could make an argument, Sac, Golden State. It's really this 4-5 matchup, though. And I already kind of highlighted Phoenix. It's about health. It's about, did they gel? There's that stat 7-0 with Kevin Durant or 8-0. Mm-hmm. But those weren't all blowouts. Those were not all blowout wins that Phoenix won, and it wasn't against all good teams. I don't have it pulled up.
The Hornets were in there.
There was a couple games, and even the Hornets game was like, they won. I mean, I don't know. I am also I'm a Phoenix hater.
This is a real hate.
Oh yeah, I like that. I like that. I'm gonna shake your hand, buddy.
I gotta be objective. I'm gonna be objective about this. Okay. I think the Clippers not having Paul George is massive.
After all that,
and for some reason, not having Paul George is being swept under the rug for some. like, are people not seeing that or talking about? I haven't heard enough people talk about no Paul George. He's not coming back for this series. He sprained his MCL. No chance. I don't think he plays in the postseason. Maybe he tries to push it and come back. But then
that's podcast P right there.
On podcast P now.
Yeah, it's that pandemic P, podcast P, whatever they call him. Like I think Paul George is out for this entire. That injury takes a long time to heal properly, and they might rush him back. I guess I'll get on with a pick here. I'm probably going to take Phoenix. No, go ahead.
I have a question. Do you think we get more games played or podcasts from Paul George in the postseason?
Dude, I think we certainly get more podcasts. Especially because now I'm picking Phoenix. I'm picking Phoenix to win. So we definitely pandemic P, more vaccinations. He's got more podcasts than games played in the 2023 playoffs. Write it down. Remember, I said it. Screenshot, whatever it may be. Bro's going for his third booster shot, but he's definitely not
PG,
playing.
I hope you're listening to this, PG.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan. This is not me. Them, not me. I just asked the question.
My Clipper friends are gonna hate this clip. No pun intended, but I had to do it.
Trust me. I think they might like it in a second. Trust me.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Alan. Go ahead.
So what was your final pick though for the series?
I'm going to go with Phoenix. I think that series can go 7 though. I think it goes like a tough 6. I'm going Phoenix in 7. I think it goes to the end. Game 7 in Phoenix. If everyone stays healthy on Phoenix, I think they win that series.
So you're not confident in a comfortable Suns series win though. Interesting.
No. I keep throwing that phrase around too. I don't think it's I think the Clippers, to give the Clippers some flowers real quick as well, I think they're still a deep team. They still play very good team basketball. Ty Lue, there's been some rumblings of Ty Lue being kind of sus with his coaching this year. Like fellow Clip, like not.
I think that's more Lakers Twitter.
Yeah,
I see it too. I see it too.
There was a rumor out there that Ty Lue was dating Marcus Morris, and that's why he was playing him so much.
That's Lakers Twitter.
I saw it on Reddit.
You gotta be able to recognize the signs, recognize when you're in the echo chamber for sure. Yeah.
All right.
Man, that's bad.
Okay, I gotta say, Vic, F all that staying objective. You know, this is Clipper Nation, buddy.
What are we doing here?
Clipper Nation, buddy.
Under the hoodie.
This is Russ redemption season, buddy.
Wow.
It's time. Clippers in 7, and you know what? I think they extend the series. Game 6, podcast P comes back.
You think so?
Game 6 in LA, podcast P comes back. I think it goes to 3-2. Podcast P comes back. Game 6, they win it, and they win Game 7 in Phoenix.
All right. I didn't mention Russ. To be fair, I didn't mention Russ, but I will say real quick, he fits well on that team, and I think the change of scenery really helped him mentally.
Absolutely.
Mentally, I think the change of scenery, and Russell Westbrook is still a good NBA player. I don't care what people say. He was not a good fit for the Lakers. 2 things can be true.
He was not.
He's still good. He's still a valuable piece, but he was not the fit for the Lakers. Those 2 things can be true, and that's all I'll say about it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Next to LeBron, it's hard to cook how Russ cooks, to be fair. They brought him in to kind of be a playmaker, and it didn't really work. It just did not mesh. It sometimes worked well with just one, like just him and LeBron or just him and AD, but the 3 of them together, it never could put it together. But I think Russ is going to have an impactful series. And I think we didn't even mention Kawhi. Like, I think Kawhi is the second best player in this series if KD is healthy. Booker is great, but Kawhi is a 2-way player who's been 40, 50, 90 guy for the last few months of the season. And we forget that Kawhi is an engine. Like, he can lead a team to a championship, as we saw in Toronto. So I think Kawhi is going to keep them largely in this series. They have a lot of 3-and-D guys or wings that can switch to match up pretty well, and a lot of guys that can get really hot from 3. So I think this is going to be a really hotly contested series. I wouldn't be shocked, of course, at Phoenix winning, but I got the Clippers in 7. I was mad when I heard Kendrick Perkins talking about Clippers in 6. I was like, damn, like he's beating me to the punch.
Right.
But I'm hearing people talking about the Clippers, so it's kind of making me a little bit leery of my pick now. But I like the matchup. I hate Chris Paul with the passion.
Yeah.
So this is all a heart over mind pick. I'm telling you, it's not objective. This is subjective. But I'm going Clippers in 7.
Are y'all done?
No.
You use your mind, people.
No.
You're not going to be there for the first like 3-4 games. It seems. I think the Suns are going to get enough of a lead, even if Podcast P gets back. And I'm a Paul George fan. Y'all know me. I like Paul George, and he's one of my favorite players and all that. So I fully understand why you want to support them and all of that. But I think the Suns will get enough of a lead early on that they will be able to finish off the job before Paul George gets back. Excuse me. So I understand that hate that folks have. You hate Chris Paul, so you have the Clippers winning. Kendrick hates KD, so he has the Clippers winning in 6. I think Suns get this in 6, but the Clippers put a valiant effort. So here's y'all saying all that hate and all that kind of stuff, but the reality is KD is there, D-Book is there. Those two alone, I think, give them the edge over the Clippers squad. Then you add in Ayton and the other guys around them. I am not even going to mention Chris Paul. We feel about him however you want to feel. There's enough support around the other 2 main stars there in Phoenix. They can get the job done. It's the Clippers squad with in short, just Kawhi. Though they do have good help around him too. But I think the Suns could get this done. And that flag that they've shown early on, you talking about the 7-0, I don't think it's a fluke, and they keep it going, at least in this first series, and get the job done here. So, yeah, definitely got the Suns in that one. So we'll see how that plays. Go ahead, Alec.
Real quick, because you brought up DeAndre Ayton. I think he's one of the question marks of this Suns team as well. Like his production has taken a major hit with the addition of KD, and he already had issues with the Suns before this season. It was like thought that he might get traded or like he might go to another team. And we had that soundbite before the season started that like he hadn't talked to Monty Williams, and so there was like rumors swirling about that. I think they need him to be an essential part of this Phoenix team to make a finals run. And I don't know if they're going to get that impact from him in these playoffs. I think Zubac also is an underrated center. Didn't mention him, but he's been great for the Clippers. And he's been great, especially with Russ there. So I think it's going to be a pretty, maybe not even, because you have Booker and KD as elite offensive threats, but I think it's going to be a pretty hotly contested matchup. And Chris Paul will never win a finals ring in his NBA career. So I just wanted to add that.
Talking about the first round.
I just wanted to add that.
I didn't say anything about the finals or nothing.
That's okay. That's okay. He's not winning.
At the end. But I heard what to say and appreciate that. But I think even with the frustration that Ayton may have had throughout the last couple of years, it seems. I think it also has shown the playoffs that when needed, they can turn to him at least a little bit. Now with him not even have to be a top 2, top 3, he could be the 4th option essentially in that offense. And just feast off of whatever KD and
I'm saying I think that's his issue, that he's like the 4th, 5th option. Like that, I think it's a kind of a head thing for him, like wanting to have more of a role.
Agreed.
I hear that, but I think the talent is still there. Or even if there is frustration, he still can put up enough effort above Zubac to make a difference there. Like I still think that even though he may be frustrated, he's not going to completely lose who he is. With that, I think he still has shown that he can still beat DeAndre Ayton. He has a talent. I know what my guy Boogie said, that he's the 3rd best center in the league. I think DeAndre Ayton has the actual talent right now to be the 3rd best center in the league. And we not show that in full with the guys around him. I think he has the talent to do it. He may not actually be it, but he has the talent that potentially is there. And I think if with the pieces that are above him on that roster, he can dominate his role, especially against this Clippers team. So yeah, I think it works out for at least this series, and then we'll go from there and see with more of that stuff that you say comes into effect. But yeah, we've been going long, so I'll end with that. Yeah, I got Suns in that one, though I do hear what you have to say about the Clippers. And going on to the next one, you already see what I got, so I'll go real quick. I got the Kings, man. Let's not play around. Let's not play around. Don't trust your eyes, guys. Trust your eyes. We've seen the Kings play great all year long. We have the most clutch player in the league on the squad. Sabonis has also been a borderline MVP type guy with the numbers he's been putting up consistently all year long.
Borderline MVP. Whoa.
In the discussion,
relax.
We said that in all the borderline
MVP
discussion. I didn't say he wasn't MVP, but in the discussion, like he's top 5, top 6, whatever. He's in the discussion.
I don't know about all that.
7 assists.
I gave him third team All NBA. I gave him the All NBA respect. Not MVP.
Last episode, and you said it, and you nodded your head all fine.
Not MVP. Maybe I missed you saying MVP because he's not in that discussion.
So he's being emotional this episode, you guys, as we can see. So ignore him. Anyways, I see what the Kings have been doing. They're a very, very well-rounded team. We have Mike Brown leading the way, coach of the year. I think that we have all the right pieces to upset this Warriors squad who's still trying to put everything together there. Yes, I understand the full all they have there. I fully understand that Steph is there. I see what Clay has rebounding, what he's doing. Draymond's there and been a pesting. He had his jokes before the season and about the Kings and whatever the case may have been. And though he has been playing well, I think we have enough of an arsenal here in Sacramento to upset this squad, though we're the higher seed. So yeah, as I got Kings in 6. I heard Vic to start the show to the same thing, so I'll pass it to him real quick, and then Alec, I'll let you finish with your hate at the end, as I'm sure it's coming. But Vic, go ahead.
Yeah, Alec, hating hours are open. Like I said,
it's not hate. It's Warriors. It's Warriors love. That's all I'm gonna say. But go for it.
No, that's fair. I think similar to what trust your eyes, man. Like Sacramento, a legitimate 2-man game with Sabonis, who's been fantastic. I was seeing takes. I guess this wasn't a hot take, but a lot of people were saying, "Oh, why did they split up Halliburton and Fox?" You know what? Halliburton's already better than Sabonis. Like there were people saying this, and I think the 2-guard thing was never going to work, or it would have been more tenuous. I think
not to this extent.
Yeah, exactly. I think Fox and Sabonis slot in together perfectly. And having an elite big is essential to win in the NBA. So I loved the move they made. It took a little bit, but they hit their stride. A fantastic 2-man. Shooters, dude. Herter, Keegan Murray, Harrison Barnes. Like they have legitimate, very good NBA 3-point shooting. They play good defense. And I think some of that is attributable to Mike Brown being a fantastic coach.
Where was that with the Lakers? I'll let you finish. Sorry.
Look, no, fair question. Like, his Cleveland stints. I think
Princeton offense and stuff. Get that out.
Literally, the Princeton. Oh my! You just unlocked a deep memory there. The Princeton dark time, Alec. We're not going to talk about that. Lakerland. That was a dark time.
It was.
Oh man, but I think Golden State has not been the Golden State of last year, even when healthy.
Wiggins is back. Thompson, I just want to mention that.
Who?
Wiggins is back.
Wiggins is back, and we can have a whole other episode on the rumors.
Hold on. You just said with the Suns. Oh, the Suns played 7 games together. We're 7 in a row, but don't trust that because that's not real.
I mean,
Wiggins hasn't played at all.
Wiggins has won a championship.
That was last year. What has he done in the last 30 games?
He has not won a championship with the Suns.
In the last 30 games,
he has the chemistry built already.
Last 30 games,
that's not an issue.
That is an issue. When you're coming back about Russ and all that, you just the same thing about the Suns.
There'll be some initial rust in like the first game or two, but he already has chemistry built with these guys. He's won a championship with them.
Definitely.
I think it's the same as the Suns shit.
No, I think Wiggins slides. I think Wiggins slides in perfectly to that. He already knows the system, and the Warriors are a true system team. Like that's they run on that Steve Kerr system. So I see what you're saying, but I think he slides in okay there. Maybe this is kind of a gut pick or like an emotional pick, and I don't like either team as a growing up a Laker fan. Like I really don't love Sacramento. I kind of despise the Warriors now, but again, I'll try to be. Unlike Alec, I'll try to be objective here. But then I kind of won't be because I think a lot of, people are going to Never mind. I'm going emotional. You know what?
I'm biased. I'm not biased, but biased also. I'm like, come on,
Golden State hasn't been the unsinkable ship that they looked like last year. Sacramento's playing fantastic. I think it's time to buy Sac stock, man. I think they win this first round matchup, and I don't think the Warriors lose sleep about it. I mean, they're coming off a title. I think some of that fatigue, that title fatigue, or those expectations kind of subsiding, especially Steph, Dre, Clay, it starts to be tiresome going on these title runs. And this happened with the late 2010s Lakers. You start getting kind of pushed back on the seedings, and then those runs become difficult when young, hungry teams start to match up against you, is when the tides start to turn in the NBA. So I'm gonna make that pick. I think the tides are turning a little bit, and Sac's coming up. Go ahead, Sac.
I'll say this.
7.
I'll say this real quick.
Okay.
I'll say this real quick because I do appreciate what he had to say. I will say too, though, that while that is the case for a lot of teams, this Warriors squad, for whatever reason, feels disrespected themselves, and they feel like they've shown that they're hungry as well. Clay has been on a whole revenge tour for the last 2 seasons, or whatever the case may be. So while we may, in most instances, yes, there is rust for a lot of squads. I think this Warriors squad will be good, and they are going to show a lot of flashes, and they are going to put up some good games. But I think the Kings have enough to match where the Warriors throw at them. That's what I'm saying. I think they have shown that they can keep up with any team, with just about any team in this league. And I think in this Warriors matchup, we'll do just that, and we'll actually get the victory in the end there. So I fully hear what you're saying, but I do think the Warriors will throw a great effort at them, but the Kings will have enough to combat it and get it done. So yeah, I'm with you there though, with the Kings getting it done. So Kings in 16 and 7, either way, we will got the Kings in that one. So couldn't take Kings in 5, those jerseys here, but it would have been nice. Maybe next series, we'll get to that later on. But Alec, go ahead with your hate on the other side.
No, I will say this is Warriors in 6 to me, but it's not. It's in no way a disrespect to Sacramento. I think they've proved me wrong the entire season. As Vic said, they've proven pretty much everyone wrong who continued to say like they're not gonna do much. Like they're gonna start losing games, and they just kept on winning. I just think it's unlucky the draw they got personally. With the Warriors being the defending champions, I think the Warriors, as to your point of trusting your eyes, Vic, I think the Warriors have been abysmal on the road, but this is
bad on the road.
This is the one matchup where a road game is not really a true road game in Sacramento for the Warriors as well too.
That's fair. That's fair.
I think they're going to have a lot of Golden State fans in that arena, while Sac fans will be in there in full force too. I mean, it's their first playoff series since 2006. So I believe those series tickets are like $500 a pop right now, at least for that first game. Right. So I know they're going to be excited for their Kings for sure. I think the highlights we've touched on, Sabonis has been Jokic light. Not an MVP candidate to me, but he has been really, really good for them. Fox, clutch player of the year. He deserves his respect. He's been one of the better point guards in the league, and they've figured out ways to close games. They've just been able to outscore opponents. One of my issues with them early on in the season was that they couldn't defend, but that's an issue that is pervasive throughout the West, to be honest. I don't really see any lockdown defensive teams in the West, minus maybe the Lakers when they turn it up to the top of what they have since the trade deadline with the new additions. I don't really see elite defensive teams. The Grizzlies are pretty solid as well, but most of these teams aren't elite defensively and haven't had the offensive output that Sacramento has.
Right.
I love Steph, obviously. I love the combination of Steph, Clay, and Dre. Wiggins was the second best player in the finals for them last year. I get that he missed, probably close to 20 games, like 15, 20 games.
It was just over 20, I thought. It was like 22, something like that.
So I think there definitely has the chance to be rust in the first game or two. I think Sacramento wins game 1, but I think Golden State is able to steal one on the road. They're elite. You said there's no juggernaut other than the Bucks. I think the Warriors are a juggernaut at home, so I think they're gonna take their home games. I think Sacramento gets one more, and I think the Warriors win in 6.
Got it.
Good.
I see it going either way, but I'm leaning more towards the Kings, biased or not. I think the Kings can get it done there. I'm excited to see how they play, and then as everybody pointed out, their first playoff series in 16 years, however long it's been. So good stuff there. And then lastly, the one that we care most about, I believe, here being in LA, beyond the Clippers, the Lakers making it in versus the Grizzlies is going to be a fun one. How you guys have that playing out? Alec, I start with you this time.
I think it's Lakers in 6, man. I'm seeing some very confident Lakers fans say Lakers in 5. Dude, you got to respect the Grizzlies there. This is a series that could go 7 potentially. They've been great for most of the season without Ja, as we saw last year too. That they've played great even when they don't have their best player there. But Ja is going to be healthy and ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Jaren Jackson Jr., Defensive Player of the Year candidate. It's a horrible matchup for him with AD. So that's going to be a key matchup for the Grizzlies as to whether they can win this series. Because AD, when on the floor, can be a top 5 player and has showed that for stretches of this season when healthy. I think they have nothing for LeBron. Dylan Brooks is going to do his best, but they don't have anyone who can guard LeBron. And I think the role players that we've added have fit in pretty seamlessly. I think it's going to be high octane games. Like the Lakers have to take care of the basketball because the Grizzlies like to turn guys over and get out in transition and run and play a high octane style of basketball. So I think got to try to keep it a little bit more to a half court game and kind of grind them and pound them with Anthony Davis in the post and really play off of him. I think he's the true X factor of the series. And yeah, I think it goes 6, but I think the Lakers take it in 6.
Can I go real quick, Vic?
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Again, y'all, trust your eyes. I see what the
Lakers I do. I've seen them dominate the Grizzlies this season.
Yeah. I know they've dominated the Grizzlies this season and things and have shown great flashes at times. But this Lakers squad is very inconsistent. They have a turnover issue. LeBron, as he has had some issues in recent weeks. I don't know what he's been doing the last couple of games. He's been throwing the ball out of bounds and all kinds of stuff. I don't know what
he has been turning the ball over. That is true.
Turning the ball over.
While those are very microcosms in comparison to the rest of the great games he has played, there is enough there to show that while they may try to elevate and may do so, there is room still for this Grizzlies squad to take advantage of, especially when you mentioned they can keep up with pace. I think defensively they can keep up with them as well and can make this a real physical matchup that though they may not have their full arsenal in regards to not Dylan Brooks, Brandon Clark and Steven Adams alongside Jaren Jackson.
I think it's tough
there. I think there are pieces there that can keep up with this Lakers squad and make this
you high on Xavier Tillman in that matchup?
I wouldn't say I'm high on Xavier Tillman. I'm high on one guy individually like that. But I think this Grizzlies squad, who has stayed afloat even with those guys out, can continue to put out very great efforts in these playoffs against this Lakers squad, who, though Ja may say that he wasn't preparing for the Lakers or anything like that, I think this Grizzlies squad kind of saw the writing on the wall and we'll know what they're heading into this series. So while the Lakers have been good and turned around the second half of the season, I think the Grizzlies actually found a way to steal this one. I think if it goes 7, I'll say, if it goes 7, I think the Lakers find a way to get it done. LeBron and AD, we know that they're top talents and in a 1-on-1 game can elevate unlike anybody else in the league.
Hey, you flip-flopping like Vic right now.
No.
He is.
He is.
Grizzlies. I'm saying the Grizzlies.
But if it goes 7, the Lakers get it done.
Grizzlies in 6. If it goes 7,
okay.
But I'm saying the Grizzlies could get it done before then because of some of the chinks in the armor that the Lakers have continued to show even in their turnaround the second half of the year.
One of those chinks might be your boy D'Angelo Russell. Unfortunately, I hope he plays well. He's had some down playoff series in recent memory. They need him to play well to make a run. I won't even say they need him to play well to win this series because I think they have pieces like Schroeder that can step in and play well, like Reeves that can play well. But they need D'Angelo to make a true title run if they want to do that. So I'm gonna need him to step up. But yeah, there are some chinks in the armor. I'm not going against LeBron and AD in this matchup. I'm sorry.
Got Go ahead, Vic.
All right. So what are you saying? Lakers in 6.
Lakers in 6 for me.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, right. I think the two keys really they go both ways, and I think you guys kind of already touched on it a little bit. The lack of size, like the size depth with the loss of Steven Adams and Brandon Clark is huge because AD tends to get other bigs in foul trouble, as we saw with Cat the other night with no Gobert backing him up.
Right.
Tillman is there, but like it's still it's Xavier Tillman. Like, you know, it's not
Hey, respect to Xavier Tillman.
So I'm gonna respect Xavier Tillman, but like you really needed the depth of like bigs to truly combat Anthony Davis or to prevent foul trouble, because Jaren Jackson Jr., Defensive Player of the Year candidate, he's going to get in foul trouble against Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis, as much as we roast him for not being aggressive enough, he's in there, he's fighting for rebounds, he's scoring paint points. Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to foul him. And so I think maximizing Tillman and keeping JJJ out of foul trouble is priority 1 for the Grizzlies. I think the rest of the game plan kind of falls into place how it falls into place. I think that matchup, and on the flip side, like I said, I think both keys I'm going to highlight, they're flips of each other. Anthony Davis needs to eat. And I feel like we say that every game, every series since he's been in a Laker uniform is like, Anthony Davis needs to eat. Anthony Davis needs to eat. But he really, really does in this series. And he's dominated the Grizzlies. He dominated the Grizzlies this season when he's played. And he needs to keep doing that, because when he dominates, again, JJJ in foul trouble, the Lakers are firing on all cylinders. I think that's the most important thing. And on the other side, G pointed out the turnovers. The Lakers have been way too that's my number one problem with this. And LeBron has been a big problem with that. We can't exculpate LeBron just because it's LeBron James.
Russ was a major scapegoat for turnovers when he was there.
He was.
LeBron turns it over at the same rate, essentially.
Dude, LeBron has been turning the ball over a lot. And I think if the Grizzlies can really take advantage of those points off turnovers, get out in transition, because they're young, they're fast. The Grizzlies are a good with Ja Wick, especially, so sorry, I had to throw that one in there.
I was going to say, G was talking about Ja's focus on the Lakers, but he's more focused on that 17-year-old he got in the final.
Bro, he's focused.
Cut it out.
He's focused on the wrong things. Let me tell you. He needs to figure it out. But yeah, actually, I don't know. I guess I think it just comes down to the Lakers handling business, and then if they don't, can the Grizzlies capitalize? Because the Lakers have been inconsistent. They have been turnover happy. Even though our shooting is better, it still can be streaky.
Hold up, real quick. The Lakers have the best record since the All-Star.
They do.
They're 17-7. So I don't want to. Let's not rely too much on G as the unreliable narrator there.
No. I won't. But even in those games, and I will give them credit, like 17-7 since the All-Star break, and that's with missing LeBron for a lot of that stretch. And D'Lo was in and out of the lineup and such. But still, even as a Laker fan, the Lakers have vulnerabilities, and our inconsistency is certainly one of them. And I think it's incumbent on Memphis to take advantage of that. And if they don't, I think the Lakers dominate the series for the most part. So I'm going to go Lakers in 6 because I agree. Grizzlies, especially, their home court advantage is also pretty underrated. I think the Grizzlies play really well at home. So I think they win 2 home games, and I think the Lakers wrap it up in 6. Or maybe just 1. I don't know. But Lakers in 6. Final call.
Got you.
Got it. All right. So
I thought G froze for a second. I was like, what?
Oh, no. I said what I said. I'm not going to argue about it. Y'all made your point. I hear it. We put the Lakers all year long, so I feel to get that. I just see what I see with the Grizzlies, too, and think that they can combat what the Lakers throw at them. So, yeah, give me fun things across the board there. You said your pick, right, Alec? I didn't skip you.
I did.
Okay.
I did. I would say you laughed at our 45 win thing. Lakers got to 43 wins.
43.
You laughed. I know, but you laughed when I said they could be as high as 6. They got into a playoff spot at 7. I think you've been discounting them a little bit, and maybe that's just LeBron hate. And I'm fine with that. But
don't let them prove me wrong. They'll prove me wrong.
They will.
I think they will.
So, yeah, definitely great stuff here. Actually, we're gonna speed this ending up because we have an episode we want to get to. But the last thing I wanted to say to you guys, or we'll throw out because I wanted to bring this up. We've said our first round official preview predictions, whatever. Do you have a finals prediction rookie you want to throw out there? Like who you guys already see as your finals pick, if you have one?
Confident in the Bucks in the East. The West is a true toss-up, man. I mean, I put down a bet on the Lakers to win the West like a month ago, so I'm rooting for the Lakers to get there. Man, like the West could really be anyone. It's so wide open, so I'm gonna just stick with the Lakers. I'm gonna say Lakers Bucks.
Lakers Bucks.
Okay. I don't hate that. That would be a really fun series too. I think it'd be a very good matchup actually. The two teams match up very well.
It would be.
I would say Milwaukee is the safe pick in the East. I guess it's not that fun. I would like to see Philly in the finals. I'd like to see it. That's just that's just me talking about what I'd like to. Joel Embiid in the finals, Harden in the like.
He's got to make an Eastern Conference Finals first.
Well, yeah, they got to have a lot.
He still hasn't done that. Yeah,
they have a lot to prove. Right, exactly. So I mean, like, I think that'd be fun, but I'm gonna ride with Milwaukee, and then I agree. I think the West is so wide open. There's question marks on all these teams.
Yeah,
every single. I mean,
literally every single one.
If go back and listen to the episode, we highlighted flaws in every single West contender. I'll go with the Lakers as a Laker fan. I will say, even though I have had Phoenix concerns, it wouldn't shock me if they made a run and we got a 2021 finals repeat. Mm-hmm. And then, is Denver going to show us they are a juggernaut? Do they run the table in the West? I know I'm throwing out more questions than answers.
No.
Probably not. And I'm throwing out more questions and answers and ducking the question. But you know what? I guess final prediction. I'll go Milwaukee Lakers also, and I'll go Lakers in 7. How about that?
Wow. I got Milwaukee winning it, by the way.
All right.
But, yeah.
My prediction a while ago was Kings Celtics, and that's still alive. So I'll stick with that as my heart pick. Those Celtics are never in my heart at all. A more heady pick, I guess, with the Suns Bucks rematch there. So either way, I think good stuff.
I'd love to see Giannis long dong CP3 in the Suns again. So let's get it. Let's get the repeat.
We'll see how that plays, but a lot more good stuff for you guys on the way here. We got our predictions out the way. We're going to continue to watch the playoffs and talk about it as things go along. But real quick, as the regular season has ended, before we get more into the playoffs, I want to give more awards. So we already did our All-NBA stuff and all of that. We're going to come back real quick and talk about all our awards, including some hyperbole ones. Everybody's doing all their real awards, MVP. That's fun. But the real fun stuff is making up our own things. We did early on the season. We got our midseason awards with Matt when he was on. We had the fake midseason awards. We're going to bring those back and give out the official ones to end the season here. So great stuff here. Thank y'all for tuning in. Again, follow Vic, show him all the love you guys can. He'll be on as a repeated guest. As we said, we're going to have a rotating group of guys on here, and Vic definitely is going to be involved in that. Appreciate him for being on for this episode. We'll be back to talk about all the awards we said. Like, rate, review. Hold on, let me go to this real quick.
Rate, I was going to say, love the hot takes from Vic.
Oh, yeah, always. We got to talk baseball another day, too, for sure. But for right now, as I said, show love, like, rate, review, subscribe, comment, share, post. Whatever you got to do to show love. We appreciate it all. And, we'll see you guys again real soon. Appreciate y'all, man. See you in a minute. Peace.
Deuces.